Whew, what's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon Kindle Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is entitled Childless People Logic. Um, People who don't have kids have this idealistic idea of children and parenting. That's because they don't have kids. So I'm gonna try to explain these things um, because I get their points, and sometimes I think they're BS. I'm not saying that they are. I'm saying sometimes they make sense, and sometimes they're BS. There's a difference about what you think works and what actually works. First and foremost, the idea that you need to be married and in a stable relationship to be able to raise kids properly is very true. They're right. You know, it's unconventional to be able to raise a child properly outside of if you don't have a loving environment. And even if you two break up, at least it was started. The child was conceived in love and was raised in love, and you both have a obligation in your heart to love your child and to be the best parent you can with the other parent's help, because you have a certain love and respect for them. That's completely right. Um, but one of the things that comes off is with childless people is they say they are looking for love, but they're really not looking for love. They're selfish, and truth be told, they're not trying to be in relationships because every relationship has to be perfect for their and meet their standards, and these people have to meet their standards, and usually their standards and expectations are perverted because they don't really want to give of themselves. So because they don't want to give of themselves, they don't really want to be with somebody anyway. So the fact that, oh, I'll never bring a kid into this world under these circumstances. You never bring a kid into this world because you ain't trying to be with nobody and have kids no way, because you're all about you. You can use dysfunctional relationships as an excuse, but real talk, you don't want to be with another person. You want There's a difference between courting and dating. And this is what childless single people act like they don't know. When you courting somebody, you have intentions of taking the relationship somewhere serious. With the goal being marriage. A lot of people out here dating, and when you're dating, you're just hanging out with people for your own entertainment. Of course, you don't want to bring a child into that situation because you out here just playing games for entertainment. You're not trying to stick with nobody. That's why you date multiple people in months and in multitudes of people by the end of every year, because you're just trying to be entertained. You don't want to have a child with somebody that you were just trying to get entertained by or be entertained with. I get that. But stop acting like you were courting, looking for a real relationship, like you actually, you know, were with this person and wanted something real, because that's not what's happening. You can't court and be on Tinder and take other dates and you know go out and meet up with other people while you're courting this person that you're on the road to marriage with. But that's what most people who are dating are doing. So of course you wouldn't bring a child into that. But stop acting like you're trying to actually have a serious relationship. Um, the people who you know children cost a lot of money. Yes, you are absolutely right. You know, guys, I don't want to keep paying child support and all that, and the kid that I don't see. That does happen. But on the flip side, there are guys who pay child support and don't see their kid because they don't want to. They paying to not see their kid. That's real talk too. Because they got free time. The same thing with women. There are women out here who, you know, how can I say this? I don't have time because I got this kid or these kids. That's true. And their daddy don't never come get them. That's true. But that's also true that some of these women keep these children away from their fathers. Thus, that's why they ain't got no time to go nowhere. So when they, I want to go out, but ain't nobody's gonna watch these kids because people have caught on to the fact that you don't want the father of that child to be a father to that child. So he's not necessarily, he's free to do what he wants to do because you are an obstacle with him becoming a parent. So you're gonna have the mother and the father's amount of time until you get over yourself. But childless people um, don't think about the idea that you know the time that it takes to parent is actually worth it in the long term. It's not a good, when you're single and you have no kids, it's like a bad short-term investment. But truth be told, it's a great long-term investment. But when you're childless and single, the the idea of being able to come and go as you please, and the freedom of just um, being able to go with the wind seems like a great short-term investment over having a kid, and it seems like a great long-term investment. But see, the problem with that is this: say you're in your 20s, and that's how you think. You don't have a kid in your 30s, then you don't have a kid in your 40s, right? At some point, you're gonna realize, you're gonna look back at all the things you did that were because you was free, and you're gonna realize they didn't add up to anything. Oh, I took all these, I went on these trips, and I went out to this to 2,000 clubs, and oh my God, I got to go out and play softball with adults, and oh my God, I got to smoke cigars at 12:30 at night, and oh my God, and it's like, and as the decades pile on, you're like, I could have did that when I had, even if I had kids, like, and I would have actually taught another human being to I would have I would have created a legacy that carries on my name, my family's name, and pass down a skill that may or may not create wealth in the family. I may actually work harder to create wealth for the family, to give my child and children and my grandchildren something to build on. That I want to see the responsibility of that, because that means I put my time to good use and actually created a human being to be a pillar of excellence in society, instead of just saying I'm such a great person because I came and went as I pleased, and I did a lot of frivolous things, and look at me, right? Because that's how it winds up happening. It's not really a good look. Now, the final thing about childless person's logic is this: um, it's hard work being a parent. Whether you in a marriage or whether you single, it's hard work. Because you got to be very diligent, day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out, until the kid's grown. But here's the issue: single childless people, like I said, they don't see that their parenting grind as a turnoff. But I don't see single childless people who are normally happy. They when they're older, they the trade off of being single and childless, they didn't really feel like they got the payout as they did for being a parent. They kind of feel like they gypped themselves, and everything that they thought they didn't want, they come to want over time. And because for some odd reason, the child brings a new amount of responsibility, and it makes you look at yourself like, what are you really a person that is going to be responsible on a daily basis? Are you really a person that will sacrifice for another person? Are you really a person who can be selfless? And it challenges your ideas and your ideals, and it makes you in some ways a better person when you commit to parenting, because you realize sometimes your ego is your problem. You get what I'm saying? But when you're childless, you can have an overly inflated ego. But with age, you come to realize that your ego needs to be killed. But you didn't do it because you didn't have a child or even a spouse to tell you you out of line. You can't be all about you every single moment of the day. And some people think it's a good thing to be, I'm about me. What's the problem? I ain't got no kids. See, the problem is if you're about you all the time, you no good to society. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give is giving of yourself. And to look at that as beneath you or some sucker shit, like you simping when you giving yourself, or or helping another human being, that becomes a problem. That's why I say I never see older childless people actually happy. They remind me of when I see young women who say they don't need a man to be married, they don't need a man for validation, and this is when they're in their 20s, and they ride this wave all the way to their 30s, or late 30s, or maybe even early 40s, and then they got their look. I should have talked to that guy when I had the chance. I'm just sitting here alone with my cats. You don't. But the people I've seen who have kids, even whether they came from marriages, or whether they came from breakups, or whether they had dysfunctional co-parenting situations and they stuck with it, all of those people, when their children are grown, they're happy. They feel a sense of, it's a relief when their kids grown because that's a lot of damn work. But there's a sense of pride and happiness to like, I accomplished it. I graduated, in a sense, parenting. And I was fruitful and I multiplied and I graduated, putting a productive human being in society, and having somebody to pass on the name and the legacy, and teachable life skills and everything too. And but single childless people don't have that pride. They just sit there and I got this car, or I got a big house, or I got a little bit more money. And sometimes it's the crazy part. The people with children winds up having probably the same size house, the same type of cars, after a while the same type of clothes, because as the kids get older, you spend less money on them per se. So then you wind up the same age as a childless person and with the same amount of stuff, and they're unhappy. And now, um, now you can go on you can travel the world just like they did when they were young, but it's a different type of thing to it, because you know y'all are just experiencing life in different ways. But the problem is they don't get a chance to experience the parenting part, and now they vicariously, a lot of times some of these people wind up trying to have kids late, and people try to tell them that that was probably a bad idea because you might not have the energy to keep up with these kids, but I have the energy to go on the vacations that you did when you were younger. So the trade-off is a little bit, sometimes it's not worth it. But that's just in my opinion. So yeah.